especially since, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him.
Responsible for the performance-enhancing drugs that are being used by fighters that fought in his gym. Specifically, off the top of my head, you have Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez had popped for clenbuterol.
Canelo, man, I don't know if he's cheating.
What do you mean?
I feel like Canelo juices.
Boxing experts are calling out Canelo Alvarez for alleged steroid use ahead of his fight with Terence Crawford, pointing to his rapid muscle growth and past failed drug tests. David Benavidez also weighs in, questioning why Canelo keeps avoiding him if he's truly confident. He further claims that 5 members of Canelo's team have tested positive for steroids, accusing the entire camp, including Canelo, of being dirty as the fight nears.
Greatest Mexican boxing fights of all time, in my opinion. So I feel like I'm 100% confident in myself. If Canelo was 100% confident in himself, I don't know why he wouldn't fight me, especially since, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him. He never got off.
You think he's on steroids?
Of course. How do 5 people out of your camp get tested positive for steroids?
Right.
I mean, all those fucking dudes in that camp.
I seen Eddie Reynoso on my fight, so we made a joke. He said he came to watch me to fight and shit. And then they're like, "Oh, you think he's?" In my head, I'm like, "What do you think Eddie Reynoso's thinking about? So are we gonna fight David Benavidez after seeing this fight?" In his head, Eddie Reynoso like, "Fuck no, we're not fighting."
Of course.
Honestly, I don't blame Canelo. It's fucked up because there's a lot of money.
It's not even about the money. It's not about it.
Yeah, but okay,
100 million, dude. You kidding me?
The first step when you're a fucking warrior, bro, don't even think about school. I've never thought about money. I've been smart. I'm negotiating my shit, but it's always a prize, bro. It's always go out there and beat Canelo, bro. I'm a legend. You know what I mean? That I'm gonna live forever in boxing as a legend. That means way more to me than any type of.
I think that separates you too, David. I admire that shit about you. I was like that at one point.
Yeah.
How much you give?
Yeah.
and not to just bypass him. Shout out to Morel.
Yeah, shout out to
Eddie Reynoso's gym is facing intense scrutiny amid accusations that he provides performance-enhancing substances to fighters under his guidance. Canelo Alvarez, who trains with Reynoso, has already faced steroid allegations twice in the past. Critics highlight that multiple fighters from the same gym have tested positive, casting doubt on the legitimacy of the training environment. As Canelo gears up for his highly anticipated clash with Terence Crawford, many are questioning how he continues to gain muscle mass so quickly and consistently.
Serious accusations about his gym. And the accusations are that people, or at least the implications are, that he is the one that is providing performance-enhancing drugs or is in some way responsible for the performance-enhancing drugs that are being used by fighters that fought in his gym. Specifically, off the top of my head, you have Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez had popped for clenbuterol 2 times. For Fahim Satur, I'll say that he did it 2 times, even though I think it was for the same fight. But Canelo Alvarez popped dirty for clenbuterol 2 times. You have Luis Nery, who had tested positive, but I think Luis Nery tested positive before he was with Eddie Reynoso. Then you have Ryan Garcia, who popped dirty after he left Eddie Reynoso and went over to Derek James. And then you have Oscar Valdez. Oscar Valdez popped dirty while he was with Eddie Reynoso, but at the time he was still allowed to fight. You also clearly see that you have an issue with the fight that's coming up with Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, in that you have one guy that tested positive and you have another guy that looks like he's using in order to get up and continue to climb up weight classes. At a certain point in time, and this is something that Rolly Romero had said, certain point in time, your body just doesn't do that. At a certain point in time, your body just doesn't do it. I'm 6'2", 200, and should weigh about 210. Closer to 250, but I should weigh about 210. I'm not gonna get up. If I was 210 now at 50 years old, I'm not, if by 55 years old, I'm not, the only way I'm going to get up to 260 of muscle is if I'm juicing.
Observers point out that gaining significant muscle naturally in your 30s is rare. Yet Canelo Alvarez's current physique looks noticeably larger than before. This has intensified speculation, especially given the history of Reynoso's camp. Both fans and analysts are now questioning whether Canelo's transformation is the result of hard work, or if performance-enhancing drugs are once again quietly influencing the outcome of a major fight.
If for a 30-year-old, right, you remember, your body grows, men's body can grow in height and length up until you're to the extreme in your 20s. By the time you're 20, your height and all that stuff is there, right? Your height and your length. In your mid-20s, you know, by the time you're 29, your musculature is pretty much there. It gets harder to gain and put on muscle after 30. So Canelo Alvarez is about to fight a guy that is going to put on 20 pounds of muscle.
Joe Rogan's comments on Canelo Alvarez have ignited major discussion in the boxing world. As a seasoned voice in combat sports and physical performance, Rogan questioned how Canelo, now in his 30s, is bulking up so rapidly, despite the natural slowdown of muscle growth with age. He stressed that such physical transformation defies biological norms, suggesting it's not just unlikely but nearly impossible without assistance. Rogan's concerns aren't just casual speculation, they're grounded in science. And when someone with his platform, experience, and knowledge of elite conditioning speaks out, it forces fans and experts alike to take notice.
And Canelo, man, I don't know if he's cheating.
What do you mean?
I feel like Canelo juices. But I'm a Triple G fan, so I'm a say that ahead of time. I just like
There's
Triple
a
G.
lot of money on the line, and if I could get away with it, I would do it as well.
Some tainted beefs.
I think, well, he definitely got busted once for something, but it could have been from tainted beef. We don't know. But it also could be that we should probably leave them alone and let them do whatever they want to do. Do you want to see Manny Pacquiao fight or not? Right? I want to see him juiced up, fighting at 45 years of age, coming in with a full six-pack, lighting people on fire.
As the Canelo versus Terence Crawford fight approaches, talk of potential steroid use is growing louder among fans and analysts. Many say they wouldn't be surprised if Canelo was using performance-enhancing substances. The logic is straightforward. He has access to world-class facilities, top-tier nutritionists, expert doctors, and cutting-edge recovery tools. With unlimited resources and the pressure to remain at the top, the temptation to take shortcuts is real. Critics argue that the environment surrounding Canelo offers him every opportunity to use banned substances without facing immediate consequences, making the speculation harder to ignore as the fight nears.
What up, everybody? It's your boy MC from MGTV. I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo Alvarez is on steroids right now as we speak. He's going to be fully juiced with something that hasn't even hit the market yet. Think about it. He's pretty much a billionaire. He has access to everything.
Floyd Mayweather has never been shy about voicing his opinions, especially when it comes to Canelo Alvarez. He's repeatedly raised concerns about steroid use, claiming that too many people in boxing are afraid to speak up. According to Floyd, there's a clear double standard in the sport. While some fighters face heavy scrutiny, others, like Canelo, seem to get a pass. He believes Canelo is protected because of his star power and marketability, making promoters, broadcasters, and fans hesitant to ask tough questions. But Floyd isn't backing down. For him, steroid use isn't just about gaining an unfair advantage. It's a serious issue that endangers fighters and undermines the integrity of boxing itself.
What we don't talk about is, Canelo. Steroids. They don't talk about that. So we really don't know all the fighters he beat. He could have been not clean in a lot of fights.
In the lead-up to Canelo versus Crawford, the steroid accusations haven't just come from analysts. Fans on both sides are fueling the fire. Supporters of Crawford question Canelo's sudden size and power, while Canelo's fans cast doubt on Crawford's stamina and physical transformation at a higher weight. The debate has become so heated that both camps agreed to extensive performance-enhancing drug testing ahead of the fight. But this wasn't just for regulatory purposes. It was to ease public concern. The fact that both fighters felt compelled to prove they're clean highlights the growing mistrust in the sport. As passionate as boxing fans are, They now demand transparency. The ongoing back and forth over PEDs has pushed both camps to act, making testing a central issue in the fight's build-up.
Canelo and Crawford are strictly and consistently doing random data testing in order to silence each other's fan base and their critics ahead of their showdown this September. Now, despite this being a normal thing, the gravity of this fight brings in more attention to their test results, partly due to the fact that suspicion regarding both men have been up as of lately. Namely, Crawford's sudden bulk and jump to 168 and his close relationship with Snack and Victor Conti, and of course the recent PED scandals being associated with Team Canelo, as well as him once testing positive for clenbuterol 7 years ago due to contaminated meat. With that said, both men have been doing random testing since June and will undergo strict and consistent random tests up until they finally meet next month. Now, it's worth remembering that despite all the recent allegations for Canelo and Crawford, both fighters have been consistent.
Canelo Alvarez didn't always resemble the powerhouse he is today. Early in his career, he was leaner, quicker, and moved like a natural welterweight. But over time, his transformation has been striking. Now, he's not just taking on bigger opponents, he's overpowering them. This dramatic shift has sparked widespread speculation about how he managed to bulk up so effectively. Given his age and the intense physical demands of boxing, many are questioning whether this kind of growth is truly natural. While some credit elite training and discipline, others remain skeptical and suspect there's more to the story.
I think you gotta lean more towards Canelo, because like I said before, he been pitting big guys out and down, and Canelo not even really at 68 now. He probably really should be at 60 maybe, and he been hurting these guys. I think he be dropping these guys and things like that. So and them guys be way bigger than him come fight night. I know that for sure. He be probably close to 200 pounds, and he dropping those guys like that. So I don't know. It's gonna be a great fight. The fans want to see it. So so be it. I think Crawford should take a warm-up fight. At like 60, or like at least at 60, just to get his body, the feeling of somebody a little bit bigger, and things like that. I know when you go up in weight, you gotta, develop that power and not develop the power, but like put that muscle on and be heavier and things like that. So he might not want to take a fight because he's trying to build up right now, but I think he should, just to stay sharp and that way he don't have like a long layoff or anything like that.
Nico Ali Walsh, a rising star in boxing and the grandson of Muhammad Ali, offered thoughtful insight into Terence Crawford's preparation for facing a bigger, stronger opponent like Canelo Alvarez. Walsh made it clear that Crawford isn't blindly stepping into a size disadvantage. He's preparing for it with precision and strategy. He revealed that Crawford has been sparring with significantly larger fighters to simulate the power and pressure Canelo brings. Walsh sees this as more than just brave, it's smart. He believes the ability to turn risk into opportunity is what defines greatness in the ring. By tailoring his training to reflect Canelo's strengths, Crawford is sharpening the very tools he'll need come fight night. Walsh's perspective underscores just how calculated and focused Crawford's camp has been in preparation.
People with Canelo before Canelo's last fight, but then after Canelo's last fight, it seems like it's more 50-50 now. So everything is just the build up for that fight is just going to be absolutely magnetizing. Like that fight, it's garnered so much more buzz after Canelo's last fight, and Bud is Bud. He's one of the greatest fighters in boxing history. He is one of the greatest fighters in boxing history. So it's going to be a fight. It's going to be awesome to watch.
Have you sparred any of them?
I haven't sparred Bud yet. I haven't been in Canelo's camp. I've met Canelo a few times. I love Canelo's team. Canelo's one of my favorite fighters. He's been my favorite fighter for the longest time. But I have to be Team Bud because me and Bud are cool, and I have so much belief in Bud, and I know who he is as a fighter. He is one of the greats. So he could do anything he wants.
And being around both of them and seeing how they work and train and things like that, what makes both of them the fighters they are, in your opinion?
I've watched Bud, so what for Bud in particular, he's calm in everything he does, and that kind of calm is scary to watch because it shows experience. You can see that he's been doing this for decades. You can see it with his shadow boxing. You can see it.
Respected boxing journalist Dan Rafael provided a clear perspective on why Terence Crawford is taking on Canelo Alvarez. According to him, it's not about money, it's about legacy. Crawford isn't just chasing titles. He's chasing greatness, aiming to be remembered as a fighter who took bold, historic risks. This fight isn't about playing it safe. It's about cementing a place in boxing history. But Rafael also acknowledges the massive challenge ahead. Defeating Canelo will take more than talent. It will demand near-flawless execution. From ring IQ to physical endurance, Crawford will need every aspect of his game operating at its absolute peak.
I think Terence Crawford is a marvelous boxer, arguably the best in the world, pound for pound. But can you hurt Canelo? If you can't hurt him, I have no doubt he can outbox him. My issue is, if you can't hurt him, what kind of a challenge can you truly pose? What do you say to that?
No, that's a great point. I mean, here's the thing. Canelo Alvarez has a historically great chin. Now, I go way back when he first came to the United States and started boxing, and he found himself on an HBO pay-per-view undercard years and years ago, fighting against the older brother of the great Miguel Cotto. His name was Jose Miguel Cotto, and he had gotten a ton of hype. He had signed with Golden Boy Promotions, and a lot of those of us in the media. And I had seen him a couple of times before that. This is my first time seeing him in person, really paying close attention. And he almost got knocked out in the first round. And I remember Stephen A. almost looking around at Media Row going, what the heck is this all hyped about? This man can't take a shot. He's going to get drilled. He was lucky that the fight was over, that the round was over in round one, or there might have been so much more trouble. Stephen A., that was like, 16, 17 years ago. I've never seen him wobbled, rocked, physically, visibly hurt since then. He has an all-time great chin going in the ring with tremendous punchers. Terence Crawford coming up 2 weight classes, do any damage. Yeah, he's a slick boxer, and he's also a good puncher in the welterweight division, in the junior welterweight division, in the lightweight division. But even at junior middleweight, which is where Terence Crawford had his most recent fight back in August, when he moved up and he won a world title, he didn't blow the doors off. He fought a very tough, solid opponent named Israel Madrimov. He gave him a good fight. It was very close. Madrimov's people seem to think he might have even been able to edge it out. But if you can't hurt an Israel Madrimov at 154, what the heck are you going to do with Canelo Alvarez, the sturdiest guy in the world, at 168? So that aspect of it is certainly a problem. You mentioned about Charlo. Charlo was there to get his check. I know one thing about Terence Crawford. He's not going to just come to turn up and get the check. He'll at least try. And Charlo, I don't think, really tried.
What makes Terence Crawford truly exceptional is his ability to control a fight through precision, intelligence, and adaptability, not brute strength. He doesn't rely on overpowering opponents. Instead, he systematically breaks them down with superior timing, footwork, and ring IQ. Comfortable switching between orthodox and southpaw, Crawford dictates the tempo and forces his opponents to fight on his terms. This versatility poses a serious challenge for power-driven fighters like Canelo Alvarez. While Canelo may hold the advantage in size and raw power, Crawford's control of distance, movement, and angles helps neutralize that threat. His strategy will likely center around avoiding dangerous exchanges and capitalizing on Canelo's slower footwork. Crawford's finesse is more than just a fighting style. It's a weapon. His ability to stay elusive while landing clean, effective shots makes him unpredictable, and unpredictability is something Canelo has historically struggled with.
Weight bullies, it's somebody whose style is based around being the bigger guy, being the stronger guy. But Crawford is a very cerebral, very technical boxer, and I think that's why I'd never really considered this before. But also, I didn't actually realize until I sat down properly and thought about this, just how much weight Crawford has been piling on when he gets into the ring after the weigh-in. And look, these are not numbers that are out of the ordinary, but he's obviously cutting himself down so much in camp from whatever his walking around weight is. And it must be muscle that he's taking off. And perhaps that's why he's only fighting once a year, because there will be some fat, of course there will be, but the dude is not overweight. The dude still looks pretty ripped from what I've seen when he's not in training camp. However, there's not that many photos of him with his top off when he's not actually in training camp, so it's really hard to tell what his body composition is when he's walking around at these big weights. But the fact is, his fight night weight was 169 let's just call it 170 pounds, which is huge, absolutely huge for a 154 pounder. Especially, it's just shocked me that he's come up from 135 and now he's still putting on that much weight, he's rehydrating that much at 154. And indeed, to bring us even closer to the modern day, the thing that was posted, and again, this is the second time we've seen this, is why I'm kind of thinking there's a bit of a theme here with Crawford posting his weight when he's not actually in full training camp. On February the 9th, 2025, he posted an Instagram story and he showed himself weighing 186 pounds on a gym scale. Now, that's so much bigger than I imagined Crawford would be. I never thought this guy would walk around 186 pounds, which for anyone who needs the conversion is just over 84 kilograms. And now look, it's not an unthinkable weight for someone, but for someone who has fought as low as Crawford has, who is generally as lean and as in shape as Crawford is, that's a lot of weight.
Marcus Brown, who's witnessed Terence Crawford firsthand in the gym, dismissed any notion that Crawford is intimidated by Canelo Alvarez's size or strength. According to Brown, Crawford regularly spars with much larger fighters, some resembling heavyweights, and handles the pressure with ease. This experience, he says, gives Crawford a quiet confidence most fans don't fully see. He's already used to taking harder shots while staying composed and sticking to his strategy. Brown also highlights Crawford's unshakable demeanor during these sessions. Never flustered, always calm and focused. That combination of mental toughness and smart preparation, Brown believes, could be the key to neutralizing Canelo's power on.
Typically fighters, they don't want to say who they want to go for because they don't want to be biased. And much respect to Canelo, but I'm going Bud.
Is there a particular reason why? Like, you're a guy that moved up in weight, so you know exactly what it feels like to get hit by these bigger guys. That's what they're just gonna play in the back of his head, like,
of course.
Gotta watch out.
It is, but it's not. Because at the end of the day, it's not like he just been in there, got in there with somebody bigger than him. He's always probably been sparring with bigger guys, you know what I'm saying? It's that boxing IQ, which, William Skull didn't put up no fight, but he showed somewhat of a blueprint to get this guy, in a space where he's confused and he can't touch the target that's in front of him.
That's a wrap for today's video. Stay tuned.